What's up? Good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Doing great, man. What's going on?
Not much. It's Thursday, one day closer to a great weekend coming up. Jonathan, just got to hang out with you for a few days out in Phoenix. So that was exciting.
Yeah, man, that was good.
Unfortunately, Pat is stuck in an airport all day, but he was gracious to jump on with us, so we'll hear him chime in. But yeah, I mean, so good to be able to hang out with you for a few days, Jonathan. We got to network, see some good old friends while we're out there at Home Service Workshop. I always want to say Expo for some reason, but Home Service Workshop, formerly Responsicon, but one of my favorite shows to attend throughout the year to kick the year off. I mean, it was good stuff. I had a really fun time out there, and the breakout rooms, the hacking rooms, the workshops, it was good stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that, you know, when you go there, the whole point of that is to actually work on your business during the actual event. Because there's so many times when you go to an event and it's like you learn, take in, you got this like notebook full of stuff, and then you go home and you're like, back to real life, and like nothing happens. You don't accomplish a whole lot unless you go to somebody like what you guys did at the Huge, where it's like, okay, let's take action. In that last class, I'm sure you're going to do the same thing at Sales Boost. It's like, you know, so what, now what? It's like, what did you learn and how are you actually going to implement those things?
Yeah, absolutely. Angela and I, talking about the last class at the Huge convention last year, we did an implementation workshop, and that is exactly how we're going to open up Sales Boost. We're going to get on stage, get workbooks for everybody, and have everybody find their purpose, find their intention for being there, whether it's to go speak to Jonathan Maynard and ask him about something, talk to Pat Clark about sales, or go network with some other companies while you're out there. But write it down, have your purpose, have your goals, and make sure you hit those wickets while you're out there. So you're being intentional for being there, other than just showing up and saying, hey, I'm going to Sales Boost, or I'm going to Huge, or whatever you're going to, whatever event you're going to, because a lot of times people just get lost in the excitement and all the energy that's going on, that we get there and we just lose track and lose focus of while we're there. And like you said, you've got all the notes taken down, and it's like, oh my God, I got to go home, and where do I start? And I didn't get to talk to Jonathan. And I wanted to ask Pat that question, but I never got to. So we're going to open Sales Boost, Angela and I, with the implementation process and talk about that, or have everybody define their goals and their purpose. And then we're going to close it out with the same thing and do tiny workshops where you can actually sit down there and execute on those things, or get more clarification to some questions that maybe arose while you're at the event.
Yeah.
So we got Justin joining us. We got to hang out with Justin and do a run while we're out in Phoenix. And then, of course, Mr. Drew is out there too. Yeah, you do have a nice view there. Look at that.
That is an Amazon backdrop. I'm going to share my secrets.
Well, that's my brick wall that I just got into. So it's just blocking my ugly window. Pat's at the Delta Airport, hanging out in the B Lounge, Sky Club access.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan, tell me, you've got a lot going on in life, business, and everything else. How is your business going, and anything you want to talk about for 2024 with your current company and what you plan on doing?
Yeah, 2023 was a roller coaster, let me tell you. And I'm really excited about 2024. There's a lot of talk about, oh, this is an election year, things are going to be down and things are going to be bad. And I'm like, you know what? It's going to be what you think it's going to be. And so I had a talk with our team, with our exterior cleaning company, with our lighting company. It was like, hey, we're going to go in here. We're going to crush 24, just like we did 23. We grew like 22% top line in 23 and a few percentage points bottom line. When you make these massive moves, you start having to lose a little bit of profitability in order to make those moves, but then you can recoup it. So for 24, we're really excited about that. And I've got this wild vision of what our company, what Red Door is going to look like going forward, and just the services we're going to be able to provide our customers, and really what the experience should be. And that's really what we're going to be diving into this year, is what is that customer journey? What does that customer experience look like? Because our tagline is, legendary service experiences. So we really want to provide that legendary service. And that starts from, the time that they interact with our ads, or they see our trucks, or whatever, however they're getting that first touch point, and each touch point, and then them getting a quote, our people showing up, and then after the fact. And if you think about it, that's how you grow a business. It's not by providing like transactions. And this was kind of the talk I was giving them, is a transaction is a one-time thing. And one of your best metrics in business is customer lifetime value. And people have probably heard that a ton, and they think, oh, well, Miss Jones, she gets her house washed, every other year, and it's, $500, and we'll probably have her for, 3 years, or say 4 years. So her lifetime value is $1,000. It's like, that's the wrong way to think about it. You have to think, what other services does Miss Jones need? And if you create that relationship, how can you do that? And at Red Door, really, we're going to be focused on what other things can we provide that homeowner that is above and beyond. Like years ago, and it was funny, it was at Pat's event, Sales Boost. It might have been the first or second one that he had, and I was there, and it was the gutter guard thing. And it was like, what is this? We clean gutters, gutter guards. That's awesome. And I think last year we did probably $150,000 to $200,000 in just gutter guards.
Wow.
And it's a hugely profitable thing, because the gutter guard material itself that we use, the raindrop gutter guards, it's not very expensive, but it's a great product. And the technicians, especially after they get trained, can get it on really quick. And then every year we're out there and we're doing gutter guard inspections. So they pay us, I think it's $99 or whatever they pay for the gutter guard inspection. And then it's now we're at their house again, and we're saying, oh, your roof, oh, your sidewalk, oh, this, and that way we're providing that high level of service, but we're also touching them in different aspects. So, doing that gutter guard inspection is just another way for us to get in front of that customer and to see what's going on. Plus, it allows us to inspect the gutter guards, make sure nothing is fallen, nothing's cracked or anything like that. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to figure out how to increase that lifetime value.
No, I love that. So, first I want to dial back to what you first talking about was the election year. We had a lunch today with some local pressure washers. It was really cool. Got the idea from Jeremy Jennings out in California. I was actually out there a couple of years ago with Joe Devenow, and they had like all the local pressure washers just going out for lunch after work, drinking some beers, talking. And I love the energy. So we decided to do that here, had 11 companies show up. Incredible turnout for the first time doing it. But one of the questions was, what are your thoughts about being election year, and have you been through one? And this will be my third election year that I've gone through. And, if you worry about it, it will affect you. But if you just keep doing what you're doing and just, push through the noise, year over year, over the last 8-9 years, through the elections, through COVID and everything else, we have consistently grown year over year, despite what everybody's hearing, recession, every that stuff. So, pay attention to it, but don't let it change how you run your business. In the point, like, you're going to try and pull back on stuff. Like, if you keep doing what you're doing and provide that legendary service to your customers, you're going to continue to grow. So you need to stay focused on that. Second part, you talked about giving that legendary service to that customer. And it's cheaper to retain a customer than it is to get a new customer. And oftentimes I feel once we get the customer in that cycle, we complete the jobs, then it's like, all right, we'll follow up within 6 months with an email or a year and give them a phone call, say, hey, Miss Jones, it's been a year. And that's something we really want to focus on more in our lighting business, but on both businesses, is like, what can we do to provide value to that customer throughout the entire year? So it's not that just, hey, check up, we put the check in the box and now we're good to go. We'll see you when we come back out there. Like, what is it you need? How can we service you? And can we get a referral from you while we're doing this as well too? Because if we're going to get a referral from that client, we're more likely to close that client because they know, like, and trust us from their friends. than spending money on other leads coming in just organically or raw that somebody that's never used us before and never been referred to us. So that's something that I feel most of us fall short on, is once we have them as a client, it's just another check in the box of when can we get back to you? So what else can we do to service you?
Yeah. And one of the ways that we really changed the game on that was with our monthly newsletter that has nothing to do with the services that we provide. It's all about our local area. Here's a new restaurant. Here's, something that's happening this weekend at the Expo Center. We're sponsors of our local, minor league baseball team. So we have a spotlight for them. So we're spotlighting all these different things. And then we also, since my wife is a veteran, we do, support the veterans, where we have a different company, a partner company, nominate or help us nominate, or one of our clients nominate a veteran. Then we partner with that company. We give them a free house wash. They can throw out the first pitch at the baseball game. We do all these things, and we tell their story in that newsletter, which, hey, here's retired Staff Sergeant, Clark, and he went over to, he did 2 tours in Afghanistan, and this is his story, married, kids, all of it. And people they really are drawn into that sort of thing. And it's from us, so they know. So we're staying top of mind. And if we do have a special or something, it's at the bottom, because it's not about us. It's about our community. And so that newsletter keeps them engaged with us, so that whenever they have something that is a service we provide, we are top of mind.
I love that. I love that you get the veterans involved. I mean, veteran myself. And the fact that the newsletter is not about you, it's about, your community and what they can do. And that's fun, because it just wants them to open it instead of like, here's Red Door just trying to sell some more junk every single month. Instead, it's like, I can't wait for the newsletter to come out. Like last month, they gave us so much fun stuff. Maybe I had like a trivia or a joke in there too, something like that. Is it just like a one-page form?
Yeah, it's just a one-page newsletter that my marketing director does, and she's great, and she's local, so she knows all the different stuff. But you can take that, especially if you have a VA. Your VA is not going to know what's local, but if you just click a bunch of links and copy them in there, and just go, hey, here's the stuff, just put it into a newsletter. That's easy to do. That's
gold. And now you have 12 touches a year with that customer. That's not selling. It's just, hey, we're still here, and this is what's going on in your community. That's brilliant. Pat, have you done anything like that? I don't know if we can get you.
No, man, I haven't. That's gold.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And so, Pat, you probably have tens of thousands of people in your email list. That imagine if you were to start sending that out, how much revenue that would bring in, just because you are staying top of the line.
No, that's genius.
Yeah, and Troy, it's an emailed newsletter that we don't print it out and send it. We actually email it, so it costs us nothing as long as your DKIM stuff is done. It costs you nothing to send that, and it's automated for us. So she'll go in there and she'll design that newsletter, a week before it's supposed to go out. Designs it. It's not pressure. It goes out. We use MailChimp, and it goes out to the masses, and then we can see what the click rates are. See where they're clicking. What are they interested in? Is it the dog park? Oh, okay. Well, we haven't partnered with the dog park, and we can go to the dog park people. It's a bad example, but you can go to them and go, hey, we sent out, because our email list is over 10,000 people, and we can say, hey, 600 people clicked on your link from our email. Let's partner together and see how, what we can do. And we're doing that with a lot of local businesses, and really focusing in on that, whether that's a restaurant or something like that.
That's gold. And you're hitting your prospects too, not just your customers, right?
Oh, yeah. So definitely prospects and customers. Anybody that's ever got a quote from us, they're getting that newsletter until they unsubscribe.
That is gold. And it's just,
and our unsubscribe rate is low for that reason.
Yeah. I know. And it's funny because like I go through all my junk mail and my mail that I get from like all these companies that I never subscribe for one thing. It's like, it's just constantly in there, and I'll just open up something up out of nowhere just to see what they're talking about. And just, if it's not a pressure or a sale, then it's going to encourage me to want to open it more. But like you said, it's fun and about the community, and to be able to highlight the veterans too. That's such a great, just a great opportunity for the community too.
Yeah, and it's about the timing too. I don't know if you guys have ever bought like a pizza from Domino's and use your email address, but I get an email like without fail, like every Friday around 4 o'clock, and it's like, hey buddy, pizza time, and I don't buy pizza, every week. We do have pizza night most Fridays, but a lot of times I just make, I like making the pizza. But every Friday, Domino's knows, let's email these people, because that's going to click something. They go, oh, you know what? It's Friday. Oh, it's late.
Yeah.
So you
driving home. Yep.
Yep. If you're staying top of mind with your customers, that's how you're going to win, because they just know your name, and they're at that point, there's nobody. Who else are they going to call for whatever service you provide? Because you stay top of mind. They don't care about how many quotes. They know that, okay, they did it before. They gave me great service, and I need the service again. I just click and go. And is the easier you can make it for your customers, the better. Apple Pay was probably one of the best things that ever happened to a lot of retailers, because have you ever been on a form and it's like, oh, just double click to Apple Pay. Mm-hmm. And then you can get something. So if you reduce that friction and through a newsletter, and you just hit that get a quote button, and they can click it and go right to whatever landing page that is, it's gold. Just reduce the friction. They don't even have to pick up the phone and call you.
I love that. And it's only going to take your VA an hour or two to get it set up, and then it's just kind of plug and play on a couple things. And I'm guilty. I said I was going to do it for years, and we've looked into companies to do it. This is before VAs, but now you kind of lit the fire up me to make sure we make this happen, because we've got a database of thousands of people from both companies. And it's usually just us checking in with them, see if they need anything. But now we can add that too and talk about the community. So
just awesome. Make a template. We have a template, and it's just each section, like logo spotlight, whatever the sections are. I haven't looked at the newsletter in a few weeks, so I don't remember the sections, but you have each section, you just fill it out. It's boilerplate. It's good information, but each section has got different highlights, and it's super easy to fill out. Good
stuff, man. I love that. So I think everybody's here wondering why we're talking about Sales Boost, and I'd love to know what Jonathan's going to be talking about Sales Boost. So can we just kind of get like maybe a little hint at what we're talking about while you're there?
Yeah. So, as an entrepreneur, everybody's kind of looking for the easy button. They're looking for the magic bullet. They're going to go, what is that one magic bullet? What's the secret sauce? What's the thing that one thing that's going to completely change my business? Is it a marketing thing? Is it a newsletter? Is it this? And I'm here to tell you, through a lot of trial and error, blood, sweat, more tears than I care to admit to, it really boils down to one thing, and that's habits. What habits do you have? And habits are so difficult to form. It's not easy to form those habits. Like there's only a small percentage of people that pop out of bed wanting to go to the gym, and I don't know if anybody in the world pops out of the bed and wants to go to the gym, but there are people that do it.
Yeah, I do it. Yeah. It's not easy, but I do it.
Yeah, because you have that habit. And so we're going to talk about habits. We're also going to talk about the psychological journey of an entrepreneur, and kind of the 5 phases of what that looks like. Anytime you have a crazy like entrepreneurial idea, you have a lot of uninformed optimism. You don't know what, it's like, oh, this sounds so cool. And then you go down, and then you cycle down into informed pessimism. So you figure out, this is what it is. And then you go down to the valley of despair, and you're in the valley of despair. And most entrepreneurs, that's where you're at, because you're just trying to figure out how to get up and get out of that and into success. The problem is most people loop back right into uninformed optimism because they find a new shiny thing. They're like, oh, this new service or this new business, or I have this, I'm just pivoting, man. It's like, no, you haven't done the deep work yet. you haven't done the things you need to do to make your business successful. It's so much easier to go, oh, well, I'm going to go, I can't figure out this pressure washing business, so I'm going to go start this other thing. And, maybe that's not the whole reason. Like, people go, oh, well, Christmas lights, and Christmas lights are great. I started Christmas lights because I wanted my top technicians to stay with me year round. So I started a Christmas light business just to have them do something throughout the winter months. And so for me, that was a business decision. But a lot of people's like, well, I'm failing over here, so I'm going to go start something else. Well, you're failing over here because you haven't mastered the fundamentals of business yet. You haven't created the habits that you need in order to be successful at business. So all you're doing is just looping from valley of despair back to a new idea. And then you get it figured out and you're back in the valley of despair and you're like, ugh, this is gross, back to the top, without ever accomplishing anything. And most people stay in that cycle for decades. I was in that cycle for years until I finally figured it out and go, oh, wait, no, I have to learn this lesson. And this is a human thing. It's not even a business thing. How many people do you know, JC, that it's either an employee, and this happens to employees a lot, or people that that their car's always breaking down, or they always have money problems, or it's always the same thing over and over. And that's just the way the universe works. Because until you learn the lesson you're supposed to learn, the universe is going to keep pounding you in the face with that lesson until you go, okay, hang on, I got it. This is how I fix it. So that's what I'm going to be talking about.
No, it's so true too, because you see it every couple of years, whatever's like hot. It was the Christmas lights thing, then it was the garage floor coatings. And again, like, if you can't fix your current business, why do you think if you're going to take on another business, it's going to work? So let's fix one, get it running, functional, and then we'll slowly, gradually add another service. And I will say I've been very fortunate to not jump on everything because, like, I don't like to do anything if I can't perfect it. We don't do any staining, sealing, concrete coatings, or anything with, like, pretty much anything with wood, because I can't perfect it. I don't like it, and I don't want to add it. So we just stick that. We're good at gutter cleaning. We're good at roof cleaning. We're good at house washing, things like that. And we're incredible at Christmas lights. Everything else is just a distraction right now. So let's just focus on what we're good at, and then we'll get to the next thing. But what a great topic, jumping into that, habits. But and Atomic Habits is one of the best books I've ever read. And a great Audible too. Listened to that a couple times in the gym before, and it's something that people need to work on because if not, then there's no consistency with things, and you're just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people struggle with that, and they also struggle with accountability. Just staying on top of it, unless you have somebody or a group or something that's with you. Doing that, like Pat had invited me to, there's a Voxer group, and the guys are just in there every day holding each other accountable, like posting the photos, or this is what I'm doing, and it's awesome. And you have to have that group that's there to just make sure you're staying on task, not as a like shame or just trying to keep your thumb on people. And if you're like me, I don't like to be micromanaged, but I do like to know that I'm with a group of people that are kind of rowing in the same direction. And if you have that, it is absolutely priceless. And
having Pat as my coach, Michael Grigory, they were my accountability, and I do miss it. I haven't had one in, it's been a little while. I talked to actually Michael while we're at the home service workshop that I need to get one. And it's just an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your culture, your life, all those things to hold you accountable, because sometimes we just get complacent and we break out of those habits. You've got the habit of sending out a newsletter every single month, no matter what, like clockwork. So we got to build those habits and stay consistent with it, or else it's that shiny object. Let's go do it. And then, I didn't like that. Let's just keep doing something different. Yeah. But yeah, having that coach is. I had that conversation today, Pat, talking with somebody, and I was telling him, like, I was an okay business owner until 2019 when I got on the phone with Pat, Pat said, have you ever heard of Sales Boost? No. All right, I'm going. Have you ever heard of Conquer? No, I'm joining. And then like my whole trajectory in business and life changed because of that one phone call with Pat in 2019. I'll never forget that day. And just been so grateful for that, to realize that I need to invest in myself by hiring that accountability, that coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here, man. And it's like, an event like that can change your life. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you share it? Right? Like there's people that come there all the time and you hear these success stories and it's like, that's what empowers us. I know Jonathan, I know JC, this is what empowers us to get out there and spread the word. Like, learn from our mistakes, learn from what we've, been in the trenches for years, right? Like working this thing, molding this thing. And we were there, we were in your shoes, whether you're starting out, whether you're 2, 3, 4 years in. And it was like the grind, the mental grind of, I got to put food on my plate, right? Like, how do I improve my sales? How do I do marketing? All these things that you've never had to do before, and talking to people who have is like life changing, because you can put in a couple things, this year because you're at this level, right? And that's fine. But you put these little tweaks in right now because that's where you're at. And then you grow and then you come again, or you go into another event, right? And then you put those other tweaks in. And it's crazy how much you change as an entrepreneur, as a person, right? Like we're talking family, faith, business, right? It's all the above, just surrounding yourself. So it's just been awesome to watch, you know what I mean? And then people leveling up inside the organization, right? Stepping up, teaching now, that have been there for a couple of times. Especially you, JC. I'm just going to brag on you, brother. I mean, I'll never forget that call, right? Where we were talking and just seeing how you executed, you know what I mean? And you leveled up, you put the people in place, right? It's like, if you put the people in place, the money came. And that was true. And it was amazing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 5 years since that phone call. So, we transformed a lot. We started, we had the Patriot, but we grew that to 7 figures this year. So just in 5 short years, we were able to get to that in a very small market too, mind you, that. But had I not, made that leap and gone to Sales Boost, I've been to Sales Boost 3 times now. Every time I go there, something's changing within the business because we're in a different mindset. And that's why I do love continually going to the shows repeatedly, because 2022, 2023 is not 2024. We're all in different mindsets, different growth modes. Maybe we're bringing some partner or some teammates there. I mean, I've had 5 salespeople go to Sales Boost, including myself. And each one of them got something different at it while they're out there, because they're listening to somebody in a different position, different mindset. But when we can all get together in the end and collaborate and see what we heard, we're like, oh yeah, you're right. I was listening to this part of it. So that's why it's important to be able to bring your team, if you can, to get to Sales Boost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I want to touch on something Pat said. He talked about incremental change. And I think that's a fallacy that a lot of people, business owners, have, is they think that they have to make these giant sweeping, like grand changes because they see, JC's got a 7-figure business. I want a 7-figure business. So I'm going to try to do everything JC did my first year. It's impossible. You have to, it's the small changes, which are the tiny habits, the atomic habits that you have to have, and that incremental change, that is what leads you to success. It's not, nobody is doing something or implementing something that is going to take them from $250,000 to $1 million in 1 year in home services, unless it's something like wild, or you have to have just a ton of cash to do that sort of thing, like marketing, you just buy. But if your systems aren't in place, if your foundation's not in place, like the things that you'll teach at Sales Boost, if your sales systems aren't dialed in, it doesn't matter how many leads you're going to get, you're going to screw them all up. So it is the little changes, the little micro changes, even in your close rate. Going from a 45 to a 55% close rate is significant in your business.
Huge. Yes. Not even that. Just picture that, changing that closing rate, but also increasing your average ticket. On top of that, I mean, our average ticket went from $330, $340 before Sales Boost to $900, somewhere around that's like between $850, $900 because we started doing bundles and packages. Like that's insane. The jump in that. So you combine those two, and then you just made your money back within a day of getting estimates out. So, and you talked about goals too, and Angela talked about this at Home Service Workshop. She asked, like, what are your goals? And asking, is it your goal? Or is it somebody else's goal? Because again, everybody wants to do the 7 figures. I'm here to tell you that it's not as pretty as everybody thinks getting there. And once you get there, I mean, yes, it feels good, but like, now what? Like, if I can go back, like, that really wouldn't be the goal. Like, the goal would be to hire and build, empower my team to do things, watch them grow, hit numbers across the way. But like, it's so easy for everybody to say, I want to hit 7 figures, but why?
No.
Because everybody else is doing it.
No, my goal is to play with my kids and sit on the beach. I don't care what revenue dollar amount that is. That's my goal. And you can do that at 700,000. Yes. And you can do it, or you can starve at 1.2 million. Ask me how I know.
Yes. Growth can be good, but it can be ugly.
Yeah.
All right. So for all our viewers, we're here talking about Sales Boost. Sales Boost is March 20th to 23rd, Wilmington, North Carolina. Go to salesboostlive.com to get your tickets. We are selling tickets really quickly, and the room block is filling up fast. Pat, you've done this before. What happens when the room block fills up?
You're out.
You're not getting out. Them. Yeah, and we've got a very good room rate scheduled or reserved for everybody. So we want to make sure that everybody who's going takes advantage of that room rate. Wilmington, North Carolina, it's a pretty incredible place right on the river. It's a fun place to be in March. Incredible lineup. I mean, Jonathan will be there. Pat will be there. I don't want to go through all of them because it's 22 just action-packed value speakers going on stage talking about everything you can do to change yourself, change your mindset, and increase your sales and build up your sales team while doing that. I've talked about it before. The sale starts with a phone call and it ends with a technician. So there's always room for a sale opportunity, not just a salesperson going out there. The admin can call prior to doing the job and say, hey, I see you don't have your gutter clean on there. Do you want to go ahead and get that scheduled? We'll give you a $25 discount. Cool. Technicians out there doing some upsells. They make some money by doing the upsell, 10% for whatever they upsell, 15%, whatever it is. So there's always room for opportunity for a sale throughout the life cycle of that customer.
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Thank you for everybody who joined us today, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Sounds good. Take care.